Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This video I'm going to replace the clutch lever and the brake lever on the R9T because the clutch lever is broken. Previous owner dropped it and it's been seeing a lot of wear, so that's also worn. I'm going to change them. Also here, this is not from using the brake, this is from laying it down. It's been polished clean. Anyway, I'm going to change them both to the ACS. There's the clutch lever. Of course, it's missing the end piece. There's the long and the short one. I decided that later. First want to see how I fiddle that in. But there's a screw here. Looks like a T25. And there's this either a 8 or a 10 millimeter. This one you have to replace. But basically just to open this and then this assembly should come out. And I just have to see what's going on in there and what I have to transfer over. Well, taking the lever out was kind of easy, but now I probably have to use this bushing also here, the missing part you see, because this not going to work with here. So I probably have to take this out and press it in here. That idea? That's one thing, and the other thing is here, the push rod. I'll have to take that out. Probably just unscrew it all the way out, kind of have somewhat of an idea how long it was, and then the same with the pin. So just transferred everything over. Actually not that complicated. I'm going to show you on the brake lever. It's probably the same situation there. The push rod for your clutch cylinder, it's fairly easy. You remove this 2 millimeter Allen at the bottom. That's just a Martenschrauber. That's just a maggot screw. You take that out, then you can turn out the push rod. And then the little hole in the middle, the bushing, that comes out also, and you just put it back together. And if you pay close attention to what you do, you also get the same length, and you can even see through here before you put a maggot screw in where it used to push into the thread to hold the push rod. That's that. And for the little bushing here, I used a, what did I use first? I think I used a 6 millimeter or a 5.5 millimeter nut first to push it in. I used a 10 millimeter on the back, so the bushing would just fall in, but the big one wouldn't go. So I used a 5. I don't have a tall 5.5. I used then first a 5.5 and then a 5 to push it through. The bigger it is, the better. I would use a 5.5 because this is a little too small, to start it. But once it's moved and almost through, then you just make your way through. Just show you. Little 5.5 sits better, better coverage. You could even take a 6 for like a moment, but it won't go far, just like maybe 2 millimeter. Then you use a 5.5. If you have a long 5.5, even better, more power to you. I just have a long 5, so I pushed this 5.5 as long as I could go, then swap for the longer one, and then it just fell right into the temple at the back. Pushing it back in, I simply had just, a temple on one side, then push the bushing in from the other side. Did that all on a vise. First use of this thing, so helpful. The last time I did the bushing on the power lever arm here was a utter pain, but this makes it somewhat easier. I'm going to show you when I do the brake lever. But yeah, parts came over. Also, as soon as you remove the bushing from here, this is pretty much falling apart. Well, it's trash anyway. And now you just push this back in, put your bolt back in, find your new nut, I have it somewhere, and that's it. But of course the end link on here, probably the long one. Important thing to know, you torque this with 7 Newton meter and the screw will still be loose. So you not pinch it, you just hold it. And I couldn't find my new nut, so I just added some thread lock. That should do the trick also. What? Where's 7? Come on, click. Newton meter, come on. Yeah, no. It's already gone. Here's the thing, I just did it hand tight first and based on my feel, and just wanted to torque it for you guys. Now I need a new pin. You can see how the thread's been stripped. They're just kind of holding on somehow. So new pin, new nut. I'm gonna stay with finger tight on the other side. And while I'm at it, also remove the mirrors because I don't really need them. I have something else planned. I'm going to put the original bar and weights on, but first I'm going to replace the grips because they are completely worn off. And these are heated grips. And I believe I read somewhere I have to carefully cut it open, and then I can just peel it off and push the new one on. Just not entirely sure with how this goes here. So just taking a sharp knife and carefully cut it in pieces. So I just changed the grip on the left side because that's the easiest side, and I wanted to see how it goes. And I had some damage. Skin came off, nicely burning. Anyway, grip is on. I'll put the original bar and weight on. Lever is on. Replace this later when it arrives. And let's do the other side. Mirror goes off, lever goes off, transferred over. The lever is actually easy, but changing this one here, that will be quite a pain. Not gonna lie, that was somewhat unexpected. I could just push this in by hand. Anyway, if it can't push in by hand, you would just put the bearing here and not on the other side and just slowly push it in, and that's all. Not my day today, I guess. First, I strip this bolt. Next thing, I test the heated grips, see if they work. That's the new one I put on, that's the old one still. None of them is warm, so not ideal. And this maggot screw strips somewhat, not ideal. And I got damaged. So today it's kind of challenging me. Let's see if I can get a scrap still done. Camera died on me what I did. I just take a bit, a Torx bit usually, and just smack it in here. And since I can't find that maggot screw on a real OEM. I'll just use this for now, it's fine. I could also just go to Home Depot or so and find one. There probably are more around, but for now that's gonna do the job, and I can put that back on. I put a short one just on like this now off the bike, because this is brake lever, usually you just need 2 hands anyway, and I decided to go with the short piece for the clutch. It also looks better on a bike like that, and the big one is just too long for my hands. So yeah, but it's actually easier to screw these in when the brake lever is on the bike, so you don't have to hold as much. And while you watch me here tear another grip apart, it's pretty actually painful, it takes forever. You have all these little rubber bridges on there, those little black dots that you can still see. It's a weird design anyway. The left hand grip, I tried to use compressed air. So I did of course also my research how to do this, because I never did any of that. And the trick was to use compressed air. And as you could see by my hand, it didn't work all that well. It was incredibly hard to push on. Lots of friction on there. And well, it was so bad that I didn't want to bother again. And even though I tried to again, I gave up and I consulted another trick. That was using hairspray. Apparently that's gonna lubricate the grip and it's gonna evaporate off later on and be dry and fine and a little bit sticky even. And you see that difference right away. The grip just slides on and off. It has no friction at all. That's the easier way to do this, especially on the gas grip, because it does twist. You do not have the grip or the hold against the bike that you have in the left grip. And with the hairspray on there, it's not that easy to stretch the grip. Actually, you can't stretch it really at all, because it's lubricated. It just, you know, doesn't want to hold. Anyway, once you find the position you're happy with, you just slap the end cap back on, so it doesn't go anywhere. And for the brake side, he had more problems getting the push rod back into its boot. I duplicated it a little bit and massaged it in. It's all good. And finally, once you have everything together, you just go and test it and adjust the distance, of course, according to your finger length. That's what you see me doing here, and then you're done. There you have it. New AC Schnitzer lever, new OEM grips. It's finally not broken anymore. Well, the hack with the hairspray works pretty well. Should have done that first here, then I wouldn't have hurt myself. But this one feels more stretched on. You can still feel all the little nipples underneath where the heated grips contacts are, also here everywhere. But I tested it and none of them was working, so maybe it's already not working anyway. Here you have the cables on the top. You have to take this cap off. You see this little piece. It's protecting the cables, don't cut them. Make sure your rubber boot sits in here. Somehow the left side was a lot easier. It just slipped right into place. And that is it. Of course, the end caps, they don't stay on there. That's just temporary, because I want the mirrors off. They're kind of in the way when the bike is standing around, and I have different plans anyway, so off it goes. Another thing done. For now, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you on the next video.